would learn she had dyslexia. That didn't keep her from being a student of life. She read, watched, listened, and absorbed as much knowledge as she could. She also loved to sleep. And as I was thinking about all the information she was taking in as I was making my long list, it makes sense to me that she needed to sleep to process it all. Sometimes the information was too much for her and it made her sad. She would dream and you could hear her yelling and she was standing up for someone or fighting to protect an animal. She survived lung cancer and made it look easy, though I know it wasn't. She was tough, she was funny, she wasn't afraid of anything, and she taught me the most important thing, how to unconditionally love. She was in love with her grandkids, Eliza, Cecilia, Kay, and Ethan. She was so incredibly proud of them and all of her honorary grandkids too. Seamus, Layla, Dominic, Lance, Cheyenne, Shelby, Cody, Caitlin, Kaylee, Rashawn, Miles, and Jack. She even got to meet her 2 great grandkids, Shia and Rilo, and she loved their dad, Jay, so much too. She will carry on through all of us, and I know she will always be looking out and keeping us safe. You guys got to see Shia running around earlier. And Rilo's in the back, he's pretty cute. They keep me going too. To wrap up, I'll close with a little bit about my thoughts on things she taught me when we lived out in the middle of nowhere in Jerusalem Valley up in Lake County. I mean, out in the middle of nowhere. No running water, no electricity, no bathroom. I was 11. Let's put this in perspective here. Living out there with her taught me more about life than anything else to this day. Life is short. Nature always runs its course. Take care of the little things and enjoy the moments. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. They're leaving, right?
Bring it.
Yeah.
All right. So nature always takes its course. Let me find where I was. Take care of the little things and enjoy the moments. Always have water. It is precious and more important than gold. Pay attention to your surroundings. Not all people are good. Not all people are bad. Accept people for who they are. Love is what makes you rich. Being out under the stars is magical, and the wind can blow you away. Trust your gut. It knows more than you do. Always be prepared, and when life catches you by surprise, stay calm. It will all work out. Sometimes the bad turns out good. Use what you have. Don't take anything for granted. Persistence pays off. Art can be anywhere. Good friends take care of each other. Bathrooms aren't necessary, but really nice. Everything will be fine in the end. And if it's not fine, it's not the end. I love you all, and thank you so much for being here. And I want to call up my sister-in-law, Roxanne. She's got a couple of things to read to us. Thank you. The microphone needs to go back there. Just try to talk.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I think I'll forego the
She's a teacher.
microphone. I get to be one of the sisters that all those brothers. The gift that is Tama. So thank you, Ronnie and Tama, for trusting me with this. I'm going to be reading 2 short pieces that I chose to honor Joy. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to read, I was thinking about Joy and her great love of family, her great love of her friends, her love of the natural world, and her love of freedom, because Joy sought to live free, and that's hard. That's a hard thing. So the first thing I'm reading is a poem by Christina Rossetti. And this is probably a poem for us. This is a poem about mourning. When I come to the end of the road and the sun has set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not for long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that once we shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey we all must take, and each must go alone. It's all part of the master plan, a step on the road to home. When you are lonely and sick at heart, go to the friends we know. Laugh at all the things we used to do. Miss me, but let me go. When I am gone, my dearest, sing no sad songs for me. Plant thou no roses at my head, nor shady cypress tree. Be the green grass above me, with showers and dewdrops wet. And if thou wilt remember, and if thou wilt forget, I shall not see the shadows, I shall not fear the rain, I shall not hear the nightingale sing on as if in pain. And dreaming through the twilight that doth not rise nor set, haply I may remember. The second piece is from John Muir, who wrote so beautifully about the California and the West that Joy really lived in this really primal, intense way. So this is from our national parks, and this is the celebration. So I kind of think Joy would say this: climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you, and their storms their energy, while cares will drop off like autumn leaves. As age comes on, one source of enjoyment after another is closed, but nature's resources never fail. Like a generous host, she offers here brimming cups in endless variety, served in a grand hall, the sky its ceiling, the mountains its walls, decorated with glorious paintings and enlivened with bands of music, ever playing. For Joy. Thank you. Love you too.
She wanted to show me the poems ahead of time, and I said, no, I just want to be surprised. So unfortunately, I've been working like a crazed person for the last couple weeks, it seems, but I did not complete the slideshow, but I do have a little bit to show you. I have all the pictures finally on my computer, but I've been collecting them over time, and so what I was thinking we could do is we could take a little time to do some, to share, if anybody wanted to come up and say anything, or even stand where you are. Actually, maybe come up, because we're doing the live show.
And the microphone is good, because even though you do project yourself, not everybody hears that well, especially if you're recording.
Right.
It's good to use a microphone.
So come on up, use the microphone, and then after we're done, I have a couple little video clips of my mom doing some fun, silly things. And then while we're breaking up,
then I have more to say.
She has more to say, and then we'll show some pictures and play some music as we're all kind of mingling and looking around. Okay? And we can all cry over the pictures, but I don't have it all ready. I'm sorry. And I when I do finally get it together, I will also share links and get it to people too that way. So, anybody have anything they want to say or share? I'm going to stay with you.
Thank you all for coming. That's a few things that remind me from all the speeches, from all the stuff that was just said. Is my mom was a hippie, but she was a psycho TV, computer, email person. You know, I had to get her to Netflix, Hulu, the Prime, YouTube TV, and she had her TV, and she was a sleeper, but she was a late night person and stayed up till 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, way before even the sickness hit. Timmy can attest to that, and anybody that's spent time with my mom knows that she was a hippie, but she loved her technology too. I think about 5 years ago, that's when I really had the best relationship with my mom, because she lived with Uncle Timmy and I spent almost every day with her. There were days where I wouldn't even see her sometimes, even when I lived with her, because she slept so late, and then I had to go somewhere, and when I came back, As I climb out, going to bed, you know, going to work, you know, so. With that, but one of the things I remember is that she was always there for me, no matter what, emotionally, physically, spiritually.
No.
It's okay, I'll let it go. I love that. But when our relationship really came together was when she got clean and sober. I think it was step 4 of alcoholism. We sat down, she had to make amends for everything. And I was able to unleash all the bad stuff I felt. So from there on, which was about 30 years, 35 years now, is when we really got together and enjoyed each other. I loved her very much, and I appreciate everybody here, and I know everybody loved her too. Thank you.
Anybody else want to come on up? Lisa's coming. I'm gonna take that baby. Uncle Tim, you want to go first, Al, or?
No, wait.
Okay.
You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to thank Unity Church and for having this here today. And for the people that really work behind the scenes to make this happen. Tama, of course, like she spearheaded it all. I know how hard she works on these things. Paul and Ronnie and anybody who else helped. Thank you so much. It's really wonderful to see everybody too. Of course, as you might see, a little bit of resemblance between.
Very much.
Yeah, so yeah, she's my sister, she's my younger, and of course my brother, like Tama mentioned, pretty much everything about Joy that you could ever imagine in her dialogue about her. When she was born with dyslexia, and she had suffered from that greatly when she was a little girl. And I remember when she had that, how she cried and how she really suffered, that she couldn't read. But yet she kept on, she was determined, so she's such a determined soul, that she would just keep on reading and changing. So she never really did good in school. She never really completed school, but she had this real natural intelligence about her that was just breathing with so much intelligence that she would come out with things that, you know, that were brilliant all the time. And yet she had a lot of struggles through her life. I mean, a lot of struggles physically, mentally, and with a lot of challenges, but she was so tough, you know. I was always jealous of her hair. Her hair was so thick and strong, and mine was so thin and weak. And I would say, where did she get this hair? You know, probably came more from my mother, who was there. But there were 5 of us, and she was at the low end of the totem pole. And like Tama mentioned earlier, that we would wrestle with her and fight with her. So she maybe George and I made her tough. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the reason she became so tough. But we did fight a lot. We did fight when we were kids. We didn't have computers. We weren't focused on a screen. We were focused on each other. There's Linda. She saw this. We would end up in a lot of conflicts with each other. We had to find who was tougher and who was tougher and who was tougher. You know. Anyway. I just wanted to mention that.
It got passed to the next generation.
Tama does remind me a lot of her mom. She does have that same tough spirit. You do. I am a practicing Buddhist. I've been practicing for 44 years. And the Buddha said that life, all of us, every single one of us, even in the here and now, experience 4 sufferings. And we call it 4 stages of life. The suffering of birth, or the stage of birth, aging, sickness, and death. You know, there's nobody that can escape that, no matter what we believe. And the most happiest people in the world are the most compassionate, sincerely and unconditionally compassionate to each other. And my sister Joy had that compassion. Even through her struggles, she helped me out many times through the years. And I know she helped a lot of people here out. If they needed a place to live or something they needed, she would be there for them. She threw the greatest Thanksgivings she would have at her house is either in Lake County, and my daughter's Erin back there is smiling because she remembers them so well. But she had this great compassion to her suffering. That's why her next existence is going to be great. So as a Buddhist, I like to say, rest in peace, because that's what she's doing now. And Bonnie Joy, please rest in peace. Thank you so much.
Oh, I wanted to hold him.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm Eliza. Gosh. Whew. I looked up to my grandmother a lot. Probably some of the stubbornness that passed down made my mom a little angry at times, but I know that she lives strong within me. She told me, one of the last things she told me actually, one of the last days that she was lucid, she looked right in my eyes and said, "Your boys are gonna be so different." And I was like, what? That is creepy. But they are, of course they are. She kind of had that all-knowing spirit about her, where what she said, what she knew was true. And even if I knew it wasn't true, because I had, gone through school or whatever it was, it didn't matter because it was her experience, and her experience made it true. And it doesn't matter to me that not that it doesn't matter to me that she's not with us anymore. I'm not gonna say that, but that was only what I almost said. I know that she's at peace. And when I was on the East Coast, a friend of mine committed suicide. And I decided to come back and really depend on my family and my support system. She told me he was still with me and that he would look out for me and my growing family. And so I just think of those words. And I'm so glad that I came back. While I was there was when I found out that she had been diagnosed with lung cancer. And that broke me. I was so far from home, and I knew that people needed me, and so I've been trying to hold it together all day because I'm just